Hey everyone, Anthony Scott here at ToyHypeUSA.com. Today we are reviewing FanHome's Iron Man subscription box number 20, which includes issues 75, 76, 77, 78, and assembly guide number 9. Special shout out and thank you to FanHome for sending along for review. It's greatly appreciated. To subscribe and for more information, check out the FanHome website by clicking the link in the YouTube description or the hyperlinks off of ToyHypeUSA.com. Let's take a closer look at issues 75 and 76. I initially started this review several months back. However, because I was going through a third party that was helping me out and getting a subscription for free, I was going through him and not FanHome directly, which is why it probably took a little bit longer to get a replacement box. Here is a look at issue 75. So since this review was initially half done, I somehow lost half the review I had done several months back, so I'm redoing the segment of it. The parts that came with these issues were initially done, and I'll show you the assembly at the end of the next issue. So the first article, Iron Man and Thor, God Complex. A continuation. And now for assembly. This is the Mark III armor, the chest. All the parts are right here we're going to be using. And here's a look at the steps. Second part. Here's an exploded view. And the next article, Edwin Jarvis, Iron Man's butler. A continuation. And Ultron Buster, this armor here. Here's a look at the back featuring Iron Man Thor number 1 from January 2011. And a look at the next issue, which is 76. The parts for this were also assembled. The Illuminati, Secrets of War. All right, so now we have a look at the construction. Mark III armor. Here's a closer look at the parts. This is where they're going to go. And here's a look at the steps. An exploded view, which helps greatly. And next article for Thanos. A continuation. And Ice Armor Iron Man. On the back, we have a look at the next issue from Avengers Volume 4, number 8 from February 2011, and a look at the next issue. Here's a look at the assembly for issues 75 and 76. These shoulder pads are now on. On the back, these are hinge joints, so these can go up and down as shown. I am now moving on to the next issue. Here's a look at issue 77, as well as the parts that we're going to be using for assembly. Let's open this up, take a closer look. First article, The Iron Age, Journey Through History. A continuation. And assembly. Here's a look at the steps. These are the parts we're going to be using. And here's a look at the steps here. Here's a look at the exploded view and where it goes. Right in the chest there. Next article, Scarlet Witch and Extraordinary Power. A continuation. And 2020 armor. Make way for Arno Stark. Here's a look at the back of the magazine, which is the Iron Age #1 from August 2011, and a look at the next issue. I'm going to work on assembly now, and let's take a closer look. Here's a look at the completed assembly. This is put together, screwed in, and I am now moving on to the next issue. Here's a look at issue 78, as well as the parts we're going to be using for assembly. First article, Fear Itself, a legendary battle. A continuation. And assembly, we're going to be continuing off the piece we just assembled. Here's a closer look at all the parts, and here's a look at the assembly. Next step. And an exploded view, which comes in handy. This is where it's going to go inside the chest. Next article, X-Men Against the Children of the Atom. A continuation. And Holocron Virtual Armor. Hologram, my apologies, Virtual Armor. And finally, inside this issue, Fear Itself, #1, June 2011. And here's a look at the next issue. I'm going to work on assembly now, and let's take a closer look. Here's a look at assembly. This piece on the right, we're not going to use in this issue. Here's a closer look at assembly here. This is going to move side by side. So there's your look there. When you screw it in, just leave a tiny bit of space in between so you can move this. Otherwise, it may be too tight. I am now moving on to the next issue. Here's a look at assembly guide #9 and a look at the parts we're going to be using for assembly. Inside this issue, this is just the instructions for assembly, no articles. Here's a breakdown of the parts. And here's a closer look at the steps. So that's it there. I'm going to work on assembly now, and let's take a closer look. Here's a look at the completed assembly. The battery pack is placed into the bottom of the base, and this piece right over here is screwed in as shown. And the 20th box is complete. Thank you for watching this video. I am Anthony Scott at toyhypeusa.com. Please like and share. Also, thanks again to FanHome for sending along for a review. It's greatly appreciated. Again, to subscribe, use the links off of the YouTube description or hyperlinks off of toyhypeusa.com. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for more coverage and reviews.